Welcome back, Moto fam. Man, there's something just about this sport that it is so incredibly taxing on the body, regardless if you ever turn pro or go local pro or just be a weekend warrior. It's a pact that we make, that we're to help each other out, and if there's a fallen rider, we want to help them out. We do the best we can, and that's one of the things that I can't help but just commend the community that motocross is it's a bunch of like-minded individuals that are crazy. They're absolutely freaking crazy. Yeah, look at all the props in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Whoever gets into this sport has got to screw loose, because whether or not you want to turn pro or just have fun just turning your voice off, like, it's so incredibly dangerous, but it's also so rewarding because you do have that meditation. And I've talked about it time and time again as I've gotten older and through all the silly books and therapy sessions that I've been through with losing my father and what didn't happen in my career because of some of the injuries that I've had, that I've come to realize that getting on a motorcycle is just for meditation purposes. It's not so much for pushing your limits. It's just for turning off your brain. And I'm being vulnerable with you guys. I have beforehand, and I know my channel, I've got a lot of tutorials on how to ride, which are some of my most popular videos. Same thing with like how to be in a track skid or a dozer or something. To actually, I never had the resources to have a dozer, but like just a big front end loader on how to build tracks. And my life is changing. And I still love the sport, absolutely. But I'm just going to be honest with everybody. I don't have a live show planned for tomorrow. The shit show, episode 9. I love doing that with Coach and Cooksey. And the reason being, everybody, is there were some of the messages that I got on the community board when I posted that I wasn't having one. Everyone was thinking that like, oh no, is something real bad going on? No, nothing is bad is going on. There's just some changes that have gone on in my life. And I'm taking the day off. I'm taking my wife. We're going to go have kind of a staycation at a resort because she's moving into rotations. If you guys don't know, my wife has been going to vet school the last 4 years, which has been difficult for me because we traveled the country and I had the pipe dream of racing dirt bikes, and she's been through so many hospital stays, ICU stays, all sorts of bullshit. But I didn't realize until the tides turned with trying to help her achieve a dream, how much of a front person that I want to be. Like, I just, your family and the woman you decide to spend your life with, if you're racing bikes or whatever, dude, you got to just go give them a big hug because you put them through hell. You know, I was riding 5-6 days a week. I wouldn't get home till like 9 p.m. and we do it all over again. She'd have dinner ready and blah, blah, blah. And I still was working a full-time job. And currently, you know, I've got YouTube here. I got my crypto YouTube, and then I've got a real estate gig as well that I spend the majority of my time with my brother. But truth be told is you grind and you never take a step back to really appreciate the people you have behind them. So without further digression, I had to step back these few years and do whatever I can to try to help her achieve her dream. And she's achieving her dream. And I appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat. That it means a lot. And right now, I'm turning into Mr. Mom. It scares the shit out of me. I have a beautiful, almost 2-year-old now. And lately, I've been watching, 3 days a week while my wife's at school. But she still does a lot. You know, there's nothing to take away from a mom because they literally do way more than what you can, and their patience and everything. But it's turning into daddy daycare full time for me once she starts rotations. Yes, I work from home. I can do the real estate stuff from home. I can do the YouTube stuff from home. That's it, right? But now, you know, it's nerve-wracking for me to be 100% in control of this little human being. Yes, I'm 32 years old, guys, right? And some of you older individuals out there or younger individuals that have a kid, man, you guys know exactly what it's like. This is a new learning curve for me. So that's why I don't have the live show tomorrow. Just being transparent is we're trying to get away, get us all together. I'm going to take my dogs. We're just going to do a bunch of hiking and just enjoy each other as the new chapter comes around, because rotations are going to be for about a whole year and a half, right? So I might see some of my productivity slow down because of just life in general, right? And that's that. But I also, before I get into some of the Daytona and everything, I wanted to share with everybody the motivation that I've been having with a new focus. I don't know if you guys have seen some of my Instagram and stuff, but I've been training really hard for these silly Spartan races, the 6 mile to half marathon, 13-mile races that have obstacles in the way. It's still a form of racing for me, but it's not the dirt bike. I can no longer compete at the level I want to on a dirt bike. And truth be told, if I'm just throwing my emotions out there, is I'm scared. I haven't shared a whole lot with some of my injuries, and I potentially, you get to a point when you get knocked down enough that you almost just want to stay down. And I know everyone says that, hey, don't stop digging until you actually achieve that goal, because if you don't, somebody else is going to be there and they're going to be like an inch from making it happen. Well, unfortunately, I had really bad luck, and it's nobody's fault but my own. And I just felt like if I continue doing something, I'd either kill myself or get paralyzed, right? And the last injury that I had that took me out, that made me finally stay down, was I broke my femur in 2 places. I broke my tib and fib in about 6 places. I got 2 big rods put in. My leg's about half an inch longer than the other one. I've got like 6 big bolts in there, and I've had 3 surgeries to kind of correct some of the stuff that went on. And when those bones broke, they took a stupid nerve width that controls my foot. So I can't use my rear brake like I used to. And that, small little woes me, but it's okay. It's okay. I move on. I live. I still have a leg, and we're okay. But I was told I was never going to be able to walk without a cane, and I was never going to be able to run. And now I'm kind of starting to get back into it. And when here's the screen. So I made a little 15 minutes ago. I made a little post saying that, hey, I'm training for my first Ironman. It's probably going to be a half Ironman. And I kind of want to do a video blog, a post of what my training and how it's going. My goals are trying to get around under 6 hours, right? I'm not going to be a superhuman, not going to make this a profession, okay? It's just something as, hey, we can all make shit happen if we set our minds to it, and it doesn't have to be at an elite level anymore. It doesn't have to be. It's just, if you don't move, you die, basically. And I've read countless books where your body, exercise for the body is just like reading is for the mind. It's essential. It's not optional, okay? And depending upon what you guys say there, I might show you a little bit more in depth on it, but I wanted to give you a little bit of backstory for it, because when I was really racing hard, my fastest mile was a 4:45, but I was also 139 pounds. And I've been training some maffetone stuff and doing stuff for last few months, again, because of those silly Spartan races. And I feel like I can win some of those Spartan races, especially in my age group. I think my skill set can make it happen with a little bit different training. And I've got some friends that are Ironmans, and they've been helping me out a bunch. Even Coach Rob has been helping me out a bunch. But I have some limitations. I have some severe limitations, but that is where I am in my life. And it's fun. It's fun to start training a little bit more and having a reason to sweat. Basically, we all need it. But that's not going to take away from any of my moto content, especially if you guys deem it okay to post stupid shit on there as well, because I'll make some little video blogs of kind of the Spartans, because the first 2 Spartan races I've done, the first one I surprised myself and I got 29th out of 2,200. And then the last one, I made a bunch of little mistakes and I finished 16th out of 1,200. But I think with a little bit more narrow-minded stuff, I can make it happen. Oh, JD says, aren't you on TRT? And then, what's up, man? What's up? No, I'm not taking drugs anymore. I want to take drugs. If I'm being honest, I want to take drugs because I'm losing weight with how much running I'm doing. Backing up a little bit, when I told you guys that my fastest mile in my early 20s was a 4:45, I was also 139 pounds. I was small. And then it turned all the shit that went on with my dad and blah, blah, blah. I turned 26. I got on a cycle, which I wish I would have done so much longer because I ended up getting really hurt like shortly after. But I went from 139 to 175, like really, really quickly. And then with EPO, I was still able to carry on a level of fitness or aerobic endurance like I was much lighter, but I had a lot more muscle. And once I stopped taking the testosterone and God, it's a synthetic version, Trenbolone, and I started riding a bunch again. I went from 175 to 160 inside of a month, but the TRT and all that stuff, you get so much blood in your arms, it makes it hard to ride. So I don't really think that like a lot of guys in racing shape are on a high dose of any of that stuff if they ever take it. You'd be much better off taking EPO and human growth hormone for recovery. And the EPO to have your blood be just filled with oxygen so you don't feel as tired and you can keep your heart rate a little bit lower. But anyway, I just truthfully just wanted to be honest with you guys and let you know. Somebody said, was I hit by a car? No, I was not hit by a car. I was stupid enough. Okay, so I can go more in depth, but KP 200 539 is saying, was I hit by a car? No, I wasn't hit by a car. So what ended up happening was I was racing arena cross, and this was my first race that I was on EPO and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I ended up crashing in one of the heat races in a qualifying spot, and this was ironically the first race I had without my dad being my mechanic, and my throttle tube got pinched because I got taken out in the whoops, and we just went back to the pits, and then I lined back up because they had an arena cross class, and then they had like a lights class, and I was running both with my 250 Husky, and I didn't realize that the throttle was stuck, and I had a quick throttle. So normally a quick throttle it's like a third is wide open. So when you go twist your motorcycle throttle, it's a big twist, but mine was wide open. So when it sticks, it's like stuck wide open real quick. And my wife vividly told me, hey, don't race anymore. And I was like, nah, I just have to twist it back. As long as my hands are on the throttle, I can twist it back. Anyway, I was running a qualifying position again, and I missed a whoop in the whoops, so my front wheel, like midway through, missed one of the lower ones, and so I dropped down, and the back end kicked up, and my hand fell off the handlebar, so it was wide open, and so I was trying to jump off the motorcycle, but instead I just kind of like rode the motorcycle, jumped off the berm, and I nailed the brick wall. Anyway, and it crushed my leg. But yeah, again, most people had much gnarlier deals than me. I've talked to a couple friends of mine that have been paralyzed, and it's scary shit, So I was lucky. But I spent a month in the ICU and then finally came back home, had a couple extra surgeries, and that's sort of what got me all hot and bothered about the sport. And then I started a YouTube channel because I didn't want some of my knowledge to go to waste when it came with building up the tutorials and everything. But now I'm finally at a point in my life where I'm okay with it. I'm okay with what happened. I'm okay with losing my dad. I'm okay with the sport. I want to be an advocate for building it up. And I also want to give people some motivation that don't want to get off their butt and, wake up at 5 a.m. and go run a few miles, because you got to have some goals. And truthfully, my goals are just to finish. I'm planning on racing another Spartan race in Nevada here in a couple weeks, and I want to try to see if I can get on the podium. And then I got a half marathon planned for June back home that I'm going to do with some friends. And then in October, I want to complete a full marathon, just running marathon, a 26.2 miles. Because right now because of my foot, I've got this drop foot. My foot is completely numb. So running is difficult, especially when I can't lift up my foot, and my other foot, the one I can actually feel after a couple miles, ends up going numb. So what has helped is almost running barefoot, but I have to have a shoe on the one foot so that I don't break my toes because I can't lift up my toes. I'll just run them into the ground. It's a weird setup, So for me, just finishing a marathon is going to be a win. For me, just being able to run 1 mile is a win. And there's so many other people out there that have had certain situations just similar to mine, right? And that's just my goal. And then in Arizona here, there's an Ironman in Tempe. It's going to be a half Ironman. And I want to just train for it and complete it. My shoulders are fucked. I have an axillary nerve that I could share with more people, that I dislocate my shoulder all the time, and then I've got a grade 3 separation. So I look like a fish out of water when I swim. So do I feel like I would ever going to be in the top of my age group doing something like that? No. Is my goal to do that? No, it's not. My goal is just to fucking get my feet moving and get my body moving and finish, right? Because it's relaxing. Now when I go train or do something, it's giving me that same sense that riding a dirt bike used to do. If you're following me, it's that whole meditation, right? And I just told you guys, being fucking honest, that I'm scared of my dirt bike because my head can go a lot faster than what my body physically can. And my ego, it's hard for me to keep my ego in check if there's a nice big triple on the track or something. I want to have that feeling of being scared because it makes you feel alive. However, I'm in a position in my life that I don't want to get detrimentally hurt anymore. That's just simple. That's just absolutely it. So Reese says his leg is shot. He's got 4 surgeries, 29 pins, can't run. Moving is a victory. Riding is heaven. Dude, F and A, Reese. F and A, Reese. And you still choose to do it, dude. So badass. Absolutely badass. And my whole goal is to be an advocate for, you get fucked up, you keep going. That's all, right? I'm not, plain and simple, but I'm being honest with you guys. So for everyone that's here, I sincerely appreciate you. And sometimes I think I get myself into trouble because I do lay out too much information, especially to the public out here. And sometimes it can be used absolutely against you. The internet is a dark place, right? That's just my personality. And truthfully, that's one of the reasons why I started this effing YouTube channel, was It's been therapy for me. It's been absolutely therapy. So I would love to keep you guys involved with my progress on stuff. And so like when I cross the finish line in a weird way, it's going to be some of you guys crossing the finish line with me. That is basically my plan here. But we can talk a little bit about racing, right? Because these guys are fucking badass. And if I'm moving to it, so make sure you go vote. Let me know. I'm not gonna get my panties in a twist if you guys say fuck you, Johnny. I don't want to see bullshit like that, because it's real simple. You don't have to see it. So go ahead and vote. But if I'm talking a little bit about some of the breaking news, first let's go with Daytona. I thought I had the track map up here for Daytona. Ricky Carmichael, he does a good job with these. It's difficult with the layout that they have. It ends up being real fast. However, Daytona is always a fun track to watch because of how chewed up it gets. It gets so chewed up. And if I'm looking at the points between these guys, Eli Tomac, 160, Cooper Webb, 2 points. 2 points. So you just beat him once. You're going to get that 3-point extra swing and be able to be in the lead by at least a point if Cooper Webb wins and Eli gets second. Sexton, few points behind with a 158, and Jason Anderson has a lot to catch up. But guys, it's not even halfway yet. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You got 10 races left for this to go on. If I'm guessing, right, you'd have to say that Tomac is going to win. He's just the best guy on a dirt bike when it comes to fairly outdoors. He's not going to be racing against Jet or Jeffrey Hurlings. Tom Vial is somebody that I think can do really well in the 250 class if I'm just spitting off something. However, Tomac is going to be hard to beat. Anderson, if anybody can beat him, I think Anderson would be the guy to beat him. If Webb is to win this, Webb needs to get out front. Kenny, I've said it in my last couple of videos, Kenny's got to get out front and stay freaking out front. And one of the underdogs that I potentially could make a run for it is RJ Hampshire. If you're talking about any of the 250 guys that have come up, you got Nichols, you've got Justin Cooper, and now you've got RJ Hampshire. I think Hampshire is going to be able to beat all of them. He's filling in for Malcolm Stewart with his injury, taking that Husky bike. I would like to see RJ, well, I'm not going to be surprised if he's inside the top 5. I'm going to be surprised if he's outside of the top 10. Just plain and simple. Going to be surprised with that. I know in the chat you guys are saying that it's the same track as last year. Yeah, these are sort of difficult to keep changing up, but I think it is a little bit different than last year. I'd have to look on it, but I do like going across the start the couple times that it does. Well, it's actually just one time, and you got a little bit of roller section here, just one whoop section, which will be cool after the finish. Yeah, and then another triple. The sand section is going to be hard. It's going to be hard for those guys. A little tidbit for what riders use is they put baby oil on their goggles. They spill baby oil over their goggles to keep the sand out. And other breaking news, gotta love Davey Coombs with what he's done with Racer X. His Tomac says, hey, appreciate the new subscriber, Fabio. Appreciate it, buddy. Tomac is going to continue to race all of the racing. To me, what does that... If I'm being a little biased, that is telling me that he's going to keep going until he's burnt out. He's going to keep going until he's burnt out. So is he going to finish out this entire year, see where the Super Motocross World Championship goes, and then maybe next year retire? Or he had a 1-year deal. He hasn't said that he signed yet again with Yamaha, but he's just going to continue to race. And for him to race motocross as opposed to World Supercross, because it's around the same time, means potentially Star Yamaha's paying him more to stay here in the States, and maybe he wants to stay here in the States because he could be closer to his family, etc. One thing I always like seeing is these pro purses that are $10,000 for amateur guys. Yeah, it's a pro class, but you've got a $10,000 pro purse. This is a little Supercross race that's going in Tampa Bay, Florida. There, it's going to be $4,000. It happens today. March 2nd on a Thursday night. That's kind of interesting. $4,000 for first place. 10th place gets $50. $500 whole shot award. And pit bikes. Pit bikes are always fun to watch. Is $1,500 for the pit bikes. And truthfully, other than that, the last thing I wanted to share with you guys is this month's giveaway is Coach Rob is going to be helping out and giving away a full fuel recovery and energy fuel. It's about $150 value, and all you have to do to sign up is be a channel member or Patreon supporter, because every month I'm giving away cool prizes, essentially. But as always, leave a comment and let me know how I'm doing, what you want to see differently. I do appreciate your guys' input on everything, because I am just a fairly one-man show right now, and I've got things that I want to do. Life is changing. Trying to be a working man triathlete. We'll see how the fuck it goes. All I need to do is just get across the finish line. My personal goals, if I was saying it, is I want to get under 6 hours for a half Ironman. I want to run the marathon in 3:30, which is 8-minute miles. That's going to be hard with, like I just said, my silly injuries that I have. And I think I can win a Spartan race, or at least podium on a Spartan race. Those are my dumb goals for the year. And I'm not even going to say that they're dumb, because we each have different things, whether it is winning a little Winter Series race or the B class or qualifying for Loretta. That's it. We like to dig. And so this is cheers to everybody keeping it fucking WFO. I sincerely, abso-effing-lutely appreciate every single one of you SOBs, because the community is just a bunch of badasses, young and old. And the older men can do good things to help the younger guys, because there's a saying that bad times create strong men create good times, and good times create weak men. And I feel my generation, we are living in a economy and society that has been developed by really strong men, and therefore it is creating a lot of weaker individuals. We like to bitch and moan about shit, right? Where it's better to just kind of David Goggins it and just put your head down and fucking go. And that's the only reason why I am sharing with you guys that I'm still trying to put my head down. It's been a while since I've had a reason to put my head down, and finally I'm excited to be able to do this, and I want to share it with everybody. And like I said, cross the finish line with all of you guys. Kung says, "What the fuck, dude?" So a little bit of the chat here. Justin said, he said that there was a $20,000 pro payout 20 years ago in Georgia. Stuart, RC, Ezra, and several very good factory riders came to the track. And JD says, I need to stretch more. Yep. And Sabbath says, our dad's generation was the Warriors. We changed the game. Absolutely. The guys that were involved in World War II and Vietnam and, the Iraq War, there was less to bitch about. And now with social media, people are very open about, as opposed to trying to change something, it's very easy for them just to put a comment or a Twitter post to say, hey, I support this and you're just an awful person and blah, 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 blah. It's dumb. It's absolutely freaking dumb. And I hate effing social media for its easiness And I'm scared for my little girl to be sucked into the abyss of always seeing people at their best, because you are not always at your best. If you are always at your best, there's no reason to like continue. It's a nihilistic view if you were always perfect, right? The reason as to why good times are so effing good is because you remember the bad times, and the times that really force you to dig deep and learn about yourself and your self-worth and what you're willing to sacrifice is through bad times. And regardless, politically, I won't even get into it because this channel, I've gotten in trouble with talking about politics. You guys know where I stand, and whoever stands on the opposition of my views, totally okay. Totally okay. My point being is we're just living in, we're seeing the repercussions of what we've created. And yes, it's not technically one person, it's the whole society. And therefore, we're falling together. And it's up to us to kind of build each other back up. And I don't know if you guys have seen my channel. My channel has effing changed tremendously from sort of having a negative sentiment to now my goal is to be positive about everything. Be freaking positive about everything. Yeah, is there still things in the sport that I'd like to change and like to get the word out? Yes. Am I going to still be unfiltered? Yes. Okay. But I'm not going to continue to keep pushing stuff down, regardless of some of the higher ups that want to keep me quiet. And I'm going to start showing more arena cross stuff because I really enjoy what they're doing over there, and they're elevating the sport, and they're creating like their own new niche inside a sport for riders and privateers to be able to make a living, because that's the goal, is to try to make a living racing dirt bikes. And being a professional athlete, you should be able to make a living, right? You shouldn't be having to beg for sponsorship and money. There's a disconnect there. And the only way to change it is through numbers and for us becoming aware, right? So Justin also said they restarted the A mains 3 times because they cut the track. And Slayer, Mike, one of the Patreon supporters, dude, he's a prime example of a badass, a BAMF, a vet. And I think we could do a lot more for our vets because they're the ones that keep us safe. And it's really hard to fight for a country if you don't believe in really what you're fighting for. And I really think that since we all have a screw loose with racing motorcycles, is we all have the capacity to push ourselves, but we need to also give, and we need to make sure that we're helping another rider and other people just in life in general, right? I've said it over and over again, a rising tide lifts all boats. And that's why I believe that a lot of these guys in these training facilities, riders are riding together, is because they're elevating each other. The times of doing it by yourself behind closed doors are no longer there. You've got social media. People are going to figure stuff out. But if you're wanting to get faster and just be a better person, go to the track, help one of your competitors out. You might learn something from it as well. We don't give enough. We definitely don't give enough. But I've been talking for a little while, and I appreciate you guys hanging by and giving me part of your lunch break. So cheers. Cheers to all you. This is Johnny F. and Hopper. Till next time, keep it WFO. Whoa.